Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the markets in EVE Online. Now, if you want to make some market money, you have to check out the features and ideas forums, because there is a lot of changes coming to some modules concerning overheating. There are some nerfs and some tweaks because they are going to allow the overheating mechanic to a lot more mid-slot items in Rubicon 1.1. So let me see if I can sit down here. Yep. And if you want to find those opportunities, you really have to keep an eye on that, and maybe you'll find the item that will become the new flavor of the month. So yeah, I'll quickly start with that first. Go quickly to the forums so that I can show you where to go. Let's see here, features and ideas, and then as you can see there's stuff to omnidirectional tracking, links, capital turrets, what else was there, tracking disruptor, sensor dampening changes, I think that's a recent one as well. Yep, 18th of January, drone shield regeneration speeds, that's actually going to be interesting for my Ishtar. Overheating iterations, I think that's where you want to start. Yep, and there you go. So this is going to explain all the changes to the overheating mechanics, and then there are some other items that will actually change due to that, but I think there are trade opportunities in this if you want to do all the homework, because you do have to try and find amongst these items which one you can expect that will become very popular, or some others that are nerfed too hard so that they will become more useless. And thus that could have a significant impact on the markets and on your trade opportunities. So here we go. I'm also going to try and add timestamps, so at around 2 minutes we are going to start with plex. I'm going to go with the big item first. I really don't mind. So let's have a look at that. Ouch, that's still pretty high. Here we go, 628 to 615. If I go to price history, it's a 3-month chart, and on a 1-month chart it went up in the last 3 weeks actually, and pretty significantly, from 600 million back up to 625. This is not what I was expecting. So this is again a new top at like 625. That's as high as we've seen it before, and this is coming too late. I would have expected the downtrend to start at this point, but it's still not here. Plex are still wildly fluctuating in between 600 and the 630 band, so that's actually some significant movements of 10-20 million in just a few weeks, and reaching a new top this high is quite unexpected to me. The good news on that end, I think, would be that this indicates very high participation and activity in EVE Online. If plexes are high, it means that a lot of people want to actually plex their accounts continuously, thus increasing demand for it. And I do think this is a good sign for the health of EVE Online. So I'm pretty sure that this is an indication that Rubicon is actually a successful expansion, and also maybe that the 1.1 announcements are keeping people interested in the game. They want to see what the new deployables do. They want to see how all the new overheating mechanics will work. And of course the new Sisters of Eve ships, they might just really be something for people to work towards, because I can imagine that a newer player that doesn't have billions to throw away at a Stratios or a Nestor, that they can make that their goal, basically get that Stratios, get that Nestor, and that will actually take some work if you want to do it yourself, you know, grind the loyalty points or buy a BPC and then produce the ship yourself. I think this could help some people with a longer term goal, just keeping them in the game for a longer time, because just a year ago plexes were on their significant downtrend. Here you can see that right here. On the 5-day moving average, it was definitely on a continuous downtrend. So yeah, this is counter to what I was expecting. Does this mean a delay to the plex correction? I think it does, but it's something we have to keep an eye on, and it's definitely pretty damn high. Look at that, 628 for sell orders for plexes, and we're already coming to the end of January. That's an unusual situation. Not the best news for people that actually want to plex their account, but I think for the health of the game this is a great sign. So moving on now to minerals at 5 minutes. Alright, those are some decently nice round numbers. We will start with titanium and move to the 1 month charts. This is pretty flat with a slight uptrend. In the last week you can see it was pretty flat at around 4.80. Still 20-day moving average is being pushed up just a little bit, and the data points are actually correcting back a little bit towards 477. Let's have a look at prices here. 484 for sellers, 475 for the buyers. That's actually not so bad for the uptrend potential here. Because I am seeing 475 for buy orders, and here 2 billion of them being bought, which is on the high side of this chart. So it could actually be okay if this demand keeps up here. 2 billion, 1 billion, 2 billion, all of these above 471. 80 days, it's well, not all of them are too recent, so be careful for titanium slowing down, I would say. But it's still looking okay on the demand side here. Next up we'll have a look at pyrite. Let's see what that one is doing. Still going up nicely, so that's something that I really do like to see for miners, especially high-stake miners, to see pyrite going up from 1150 at the start of the month towards 1270, 1260 right here at the end of the month. That's a healthy increase in price here. Let's see if it's supported. Here I can see that's a pretty big order at 1232. That's pretty recent. That is definitely going to put a floor on the price, so don't expect it to drop down towards 1170 or something like that again anytime soon, because we have a huge buy order setting a floor at 1230. And other than that though, it does seem to be slowing down a little bit in the amounts. Still 31 million here, 50 million here. Yeah, it's this big one that is putting in a floor that's very recent, so I would say pyrite might still be going up for the foreseeable future. Next up we'll go for Mexalon. The uptrend materialized quite nicely from 44 to 47 ISK, which is not that bad, almost 10%, but it has slowed down, although the data points are indicating that it could pick back up again. So let's have a quick look at supply demand on this one. I'm definitely seeing a big order here, 237 million, which is bigger than anything I'm seeing on the sell order page. Very recent for 4813. Let's have a look at where that is on the chart. 4813, that's right here. That's right here. So yeah, this is going to keep going up. Mexalon, I have little doubt about that, judging by this huge order that needs to be filled first. And here we have two pretty big orders as well. If I look at the numbers on the sell order side, this is looking good for Mexalon to continue to go up. Next up we'll do Isogen, another high-sec one. The chart, this one is a little bit more difficult because it does look like he wants to go up in the last 2 weeks or so, although it's been stalling in the last week, and for the entire month it's still hovering at the 127 price range. So 129 for sellers, 127.48 for buyers though. Unfortunately I'm not seeing this overwhelming demand here compared to the sellers. You're still getting 2 million here, 5 million here, 1.5 million here, although that one is almost over in 1 hour. That one will be gone. But on the buy orders you're also getting 2 million, 2.5 million, 3.6 million. A few of them are older as well, so it just looks like this market is less active at the moment. Maybe if people come to Isogen to buy it for some reason, maybe producing Nestors or something like that, we could see Isogen go up, but for now it just doesn't seem like the activity is there. A lot of these buy orders feel a bit too old to say that this is an active market that is going to go up at the moment. So unless you see demand, a reason for demand for Isogen to increase, this could actually struggle a little bit. Let's have a look next at Noxium, which is also something you can still get in high sec. Going up as well from 695 to 610, 615 even. That's not bad once again. Let's have a quick look 15 million of them, but that's already an older order at 740, so that's significantly higher than the chart. And on the buy orders, they're coming in at all of these are pretty recent, going at 710, 709, 710, 710, 05, 04. So there is competition, I think, in the buy orders here at the moment. 705 is here, 710 is right where the chart is. Yeah, so if demand can keep up, Noxium might still be going up. But the question is, will demand keep competing above the 710 price mark? So that's of course a psychological barrier. You know, round numbers do generally detract people from still going on the same trend. And so 710, you can also see that the chart is actually pulling back at 715 and then back up to 710. I thought it was towards 705, but it is actually 710. So it might be that 710 could be good for a floor, but 715, you know, it's never really broken that either. So look maybe for a sideways movement at 710 to 715, just on the psychological round price that is 710, 715 Noxium. That could be something that is going to play a little bit, because all the action is in the buy order side, and so they really are dictating the price at the moment. Next up, what have we got? We'll have a look at Zydrine next then. Going up nicely, so it's actually okay. Almost half of the minerals feel like they're going up. Let's have a quick look here at, that's a recent buy order of 5 million, so that's again putting a significant floor here. Unfortunately, I'm also seeing 4 million coming in here at 787, that's 746. So this could stop actually, and 746 is right here though, and the sell order is all the way at the top of the chart, so it could still go up a little bit, but I'm not seeing the increased demand here compared to supply. Supply seems to be catching up to it, I would say, for Zydrine, so be careful here. Still, there is some uptrend potential because it's still 5 million at 746, which is quite high on the chart. But yeah, be careful because supply does seem to be coming in as well, because this is pretty damn recent with a 5 million order. Next up we have Megasite, of course. How could I forget? That one is settling at 1580, pretty interesting. It's counter to the trend. Let's have a look at 3-month charts. Yeah, it went down quite significantly since half December. And go back to the 1-month chart. So I would suspect to see a pretty well supplied market here, and here you can also see oh, those actually old orders, so that's 2 million, but feel like pretty old orders. And here we have 2 million coming in at 1565, which is pretty recent, but again here we have 3.5 at an old order, so it does seem like this market is a slow one. There is no real competition on either side. You know, sometimes you're seeing people one-up themselves with big orders very actively, but over here the big orders are the older ones that still need to be absorbed by the market, and so you can expect a sideways movement to continue for this, I think. Next up, or finally I should say, we have Morphite, and this again is also sideways. So the high-end ones seem to be quite well balanced. I'm seeing some orders coming in here, but they're pretty small. Look at that, 1,000, 43,000. You're having to go back here for 200,000 at 83 days. And here again, 163,000 at 78 days. And here again, 100 to 40 to 40 on the buy order side. That's not going to move things along a lot. These are pretty recent for 100,000 though. So maybe a floor 7222 is well below the chart, unfortunately. So it is the sell orders that are dictating price, and we're not seeing the huge orders coming in massively competing with each other. So yeah, expect more sideways movement for the Morphite market. Next up, that puts me at 1420. 1420. Tech One chips are next, so we will as always take a look at the Drake, which on the 1-year chart is not doing too well, pretty low. I'm really surprised by the spikes here, though, I have to say. 2 to 4 million spikes here on the Drake, so maybe forced a little bit of trade money on the side. Still, it's pretty low. Actually, on a 40 million, just 4 million is really your the minimum you want in a movement. So yeah, I would say this just because the chart is actually on a very low range. That this is looking like an opportunity, but it really isn't. This is just a slow uptrend, but the correction is already setting in. So I would suspect that Drakes are being oversupplied a little bit. Yep, there are 17, 14 of them being sold here. The older buy orders are there, but those still need to be filled in. Sell orders are there. So, well, I'm actually not seeing oversupply that much. Bit surprising here. 2 recent buy orders. I would say this could actually come back up a little bit and start moving sideways, because this feels like a balanced market with maybe a little bit of more demand here even than supply. So this could turn around. Pretty interesting. Next up, the Maelstrom going up, which I would suspect is an impact of the minerals. Is there more? There is just not that much supply here at the moment, to be honest. There are a good few pages of buy orders, but not that many in the sell order, and they are only coming in at 187 with small orders. So yeah, the supply is just not there for the Maelstrom, which is pushing up the price, and I can imagine that the price of minerals is actually having an impact here. Oman, oh, this is actually 3-month chart. I do want to look at the very recent activity here, slowly going back up here, but this is probably, well, no, here again, supply drying up. Quite surprising, you know, you're not seeing that many orders. A lot of these are quite old. In fact, only this one is less than a day old, 101 at 10.3 million. So yeah, this could actually go up as well, the Omen, if there's some demand for it, which I think there is right there, 95. Okay, interesting. Why is supply drying up of so many Tech 1 chips? What the hell is going on for that? The Rock up probably. Yeah, it went up, but it's already stabilizing a little bit now. Although I'm not seeing the big supply coming in. I'm seeing a lot of demand at 182. What's 182 on the chart right here? So yeah, this could actually be sustained, and 20-day moving average could continue to go up. Pretty interesting also how supply of rocks is less than the demand of rocks in the number of orders at least, but it feels a little bit better on this one. Talos then probably yeah, up as well. I would have expected a sideways movement looking at how many sell orders there are. But nope, up as well, heading towards 76 million. Still, that's coming back here. You know, this is a recent order, a 30-day order, less than an hour ago. 20 of them being sold for 73 million. So this will correct back towards the 20-day medium here. Pretty interesting. The Talos is countering, but the battleships, I'm surprised by this Maelstrom supply just not being there. That's a little bit unusual and is driving up the price quite significantly. But okay, that's it for the Tech 1 ships, I would say. Smaller ships are still okay. Some of them feel undersupplied for some reason, but I'm not seeing a direct impact of the increases in the mineral market. Alright, 1810 for Tech 2 ships. We'll have a look at a few trade ships that I like to keep an eye on. Absolution, nope, not enough movement, I would say here. Starte continuing to go down back to 220. Interesting. Let's have a quick look at a 3-month chart here. After that big spike to 290, slowly trending down to 220. Maybe there might be some buying opportunities. Let's go for the 1-month chart again. Some buy opportunities here below 220 could be a good one. Claymore also going down towards 210. Damnation correcting after a small spike, so that was pretty good, I think. Starting at 215, going up to 235. That's a 20 million jump, and then a correction again in less than a week, probably. So that's actually okay. You had an opportunity on the Damnation. EOS, whoa, going down as well. 285, below 285. Sell orders at 286, and here comes the player shutdown notification. That's surprising, because the EOS is of course the one that can now use 5 heavy drones, and it looks like that market has stabilized significantly. Look at how high it went, up to 340, and now correcting back quite a bit. So if you want to fly some EOSs, you're probably looking at a good opportunity. And for now, let's maybe have a quick look at supply demand. Supply 15 of them coming in at 286, although it's an older order. Demand is here though at 270, so it's still a wide margin, you know, 15-20 million margin here. But no big buy orders to compare to that 15 here. So yeah, I'd say EOS production is coming in, and this market will slowly trend back, probably maybe towards something like a 280, even in the 270 to 280 march, in my opinion. Quick look at the Guardian, that one's often pretty interesting. Yeah, going from 145 to 170 in 1 month. That's a pretty big up movement. If I go to the 3-month chart, that's actually coming from whoa, 135 to 170 in 3 months. So that's actually a general uptrend, but you can see that there were opportunities here where they moved sideways for quite a while, and then they jumped up like 15 million in just a few days or less than a week or something like that. So yeah, I'm pretty surprised how the opportunities in the logistics Tech 2 cruisers seem to be back. You know, you can make some trade money in this. Anyways, we are going to move at 21 minutes to Tech 3 ships. I suspect, ooh, look at that, that's a significant movement from the Legion. 143 to 150. Is demand coming in? 147, 143, supply 14 coming in at 152, pretty recent. Here we have 172 at 152. What does that mean? It means that this will probably correct back a little bit. I'm seeing more supply than demand coming in at the 152 range. People will probably start selling to buy orders once again. This will probably correct a little bit. I cannot exactly tell you why the significant uptrend, but this 172 at 152 million is of course a problem that will always keep the price below that. So yeah, looks like the Tech 3 market tried to do something, but this huge order here is stopping it from really taking off, and at the moment supply is coming back in. There is some more competition. Look at all of these are pretty recent. Competition coming in on the sell order side, so this will be short-lived and correct right back. Loki, with just a delay of a few days, knew exactly the same movement, so this is already correcting right back to the median as well. Proteus, that one was a little slower, but again correcting back, and then the Tengu also correcting back to a median price of around 150. So pretty interesting, you know, the Tech 3 markets, they all knew a big jump in just a few days, but it looks like the oversupply of some of the really big orders is stopping them from really taking off and going back above towards maybe 200 million or something like that, which used to be a normal price for a Tech 3 ship, and it's just going back down because in general there is more supply than demand. So this could be like a big buy by a nullsec alliance to form some Tech 3 fleets or something like that, that gave this small opportunity here for the price to increase, but just the oversupply is holding Tech 3 ships back at the moment, and it doesn't look, if I look at buy orders, that this is going to change anytime soon. You're really not seeing big orders until ridiculous prices below 140. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Next up at 2330, something like that, I'm going to have a look at Stratios. Because I still feel that one is going to move at some point because of the new battleship coming in. Let's have a quick look here. Nope, still going down. I'm really surprised by this. Stratios still slowly trending down now, breaking 340. Yeah, 338 for the sell orders, 326 for the buy orders. I'm really surprised by this because the Nestor is coming, and I would suspect that this will have an impact. So this is completely counter to my own predictions. You know, I'm not a market specialist by any means. I just try and analyze a little bit what's been happening, and here the Stratios is not doing what I would expect. I would expect this to have stopped by now. People starting to re-hoard their Sisters of Eve loyalty points and not continually bringing more supply of Stratios to the market. This is a little bit surprising to me. And the final one that I wanted to check is the POCO gantries, which put me at 2430 for POCO gantries. I bought one of those, view market details. I may need to go for a 3-month chart here, and that's also a surprise. I did not expect that. I'm happy that I only bought one, to be honest. This is a spike because of the announcement to the POCO changes. People, oh my god, there is going to be so much demand for POCOs. That price went up to 74 million, and now it's back down towards 60 million, where it's been pretty stable for the last few weeks to months. And yeah, I would also have expected that POCO wars to show up, you know, but yeah, it's a lot more stable, a lot more quiet on this market than I would have expected myself as well. So yeah, you had a great opportunity to actually sell on the entire hype, and then it corrected quite significantly, and now it's just hovering at the 60 to 62 million price band if I go for a 1-year chart, which is pretty much where it was before all the hubbub about POCOs being destroyable in HiSec with a mere war deck. Overall, that impact has been negligible, especially on the price, I would say. I guess this could mean that there's just people ready to fill in the gaps, or maybe just that corporations that do go into POCO warfare have the means to produce them themselves, and thus they don't need to actually go to the market to buy them. But yeah, that's also both of these, you know, Stratios and the custom office gantries have not done what I had expected. This is completely counter to my own predictions, and to be honest, Plex is not moving according to my wishes either, because 628 at the end of January is not something I would have expected, let's say even just a few months ago. I would have expected the price to be well below 600 by now, but I am seeing this as a good sign for EVE Online in general. Anyways, that's it for this EVE Talk, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.